So good to see each and every one of you here and people that are still listening today. My name is David R. Kelly. My church family here, they call me Lele. And Stephen, just some testimony about Stephen. Stephen is very much loved by everyone, especially my family, parents, and all of us. But Stephen comes from a mighty family. Brother, you go by it. I will always admire how they raise their children in the church. Because not only were they great parents, but I always watched from a distance when I live in San Diego, Oceanside, but when I come visit the home church, there's a couple of people I want to make sure that's there besides the pastor. And one is Stephen, and a couple other people as well. And the whole family, and the children. Why? Because they are very, very active in doing God's work. Amen. And just imagine if there were more families that come to church and become leaders of the church and continue to praise the name of the Lord. But Stephen, even Florencia, even Tuaumu and Toa and your father, they lead by example. They lead by principles. They live by those principles. Stephen and my son Wesley, back in the 7th grade, they went to Cal State Hayward. Wesley was going to Alvarado Middle School, and Stephen was going to Bernard White. And so these two, they both love music. And that's one thing that I've always looked at Stephen. When I come, he's at the piano. And when I come, he's here at the organ. And then I used to have a name for Stephen. I called him the mad professor. Because when he stands up there, he is very disciplined and he wants a certain way of singing. He had that power. He had that, just the way he commanded things up there. You can see it in him. Why? Because God blessed him, gave him that talent. This morning, I was up there by myself and no one was here. I came here and looked at his picture and knew what was up here. And I saw how active he was in the Pathfinder, how active he was teaching, always teaching and being a role model to these young people. Stephen, he did his work. And then I thought, because when we heard about Stephen, because we've heard about Stephen before being sick, but how God sustained Stephen through the years. And I thought, Lord, I've asked these questions too. You know, is your brother? Mom, not him. Well, I thought about this too. So Stephen was a very special in his gift of music and leadership. Do you think that he was tempted to go to the world and make all kinds of money and live in the world? I believe so. But what did this young man do? He stayed. He stayed in church, listened to his mom and dad, and became a leader. We need more young people like that. We need them. And I just said a little prayer. I said, Lord, we know the consequences of living in this earth. Stephen had those consequences of his health. But you know, Lord, was that your way of letting Stephen know? Stay and do my work, and I'll take care of you. You know what? God can take care of every one of you. God has the power. I didn't know Stephen's name was Enoch. And the Bible says, Enoch walked with God. Enoch walked with God. I tell you what, Stephen, well done, faithful servant. Rest in peace. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hello, my name is Lloyd Shan. Blessings and glory to God. First time I was able to meet Stephen was in San Francisco. They were getting ready for the blueprint, and I was new directing the choir directing the area, and I wanted some more talent to come by my reception.
Come on, Lord.
And I was able to meet everybody. I believe the adult choir sang that day in San Francisco, and I was blown away because I came from Huntsville, Alabama, so I'm used to hearing soulful singing in Huntsville, Alabama. But when I went to San Francisco, the first time, the whole time I've been in California, I heard soulful singing, and it was from the people of this church.
Amen. Come on.
And so I said, I got to get them over my church because they don't know what that's like. So I invited them to come over. And I remember when they saw me the second time, when they came over to Mountain View, I was all broken up. I had a broken leg. And they just kept on making fun of me because I couldn't walk no more. But they came and they just tore our church up. Choir was wonderful. And then Stephen was playing on the piano. And Mama, if you said to me, if you haven't been there, there's dust on the piano. After he played, there was no more dust on the piano. Matter of fact, I've never seen somebody play the piano barefoot before. But that dude was killing it. He had the beat on one foot, he did the tempo with one foot, and then he used the other foot for the pedals, and then he was killing that piano. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this brother is talented. And we became close friends. And I was able to do ministry. And I was able to be able to enjoy myself and be able to get a piece of Alabama that I couldn't get out here in California. And it was a true blessing to me. And to see my brother and see my family hurting so hard, it tears my heart. If anybody that's out there, that God has given you a gift of talent and skill, I don't care if it's just to whistle or to hum or look at other people singing, do it. So God can be glorified through it. Because you all don't know what it meant to be able to team up with South San Francisco to do ministry together. It was amazing. I was able to show people that never seen how different people from different cultures could come together and minister in the name of Jesus. And especially in the climate that our world is in now, we need more of that. And so it was a blessing to be able to work with this family, work with Stephen. And I pray that God will continue to bless you all, because I know it's a time of hardship. And I pray that God will continue to bless all of you all from South San Francisco. So God will continue to bless you all so you can be able to feel whole again, because I know it's a terrible loss. God bless you, and I love you all.
Good afternoon, church. My name is Dave Cosentine. I come from Sacramento Central. My wife and I have been members there for many years, almost 40. But about 10 years ago, a gentleman showed up at our church, and he was obviously not quite Anglo-Saxon like me, but his name was Tala. Tala is a beloved member of this church, and we tried to steal him from you many times to come to Sacramento to live there, but he refuses. We are blessed by Tala introducing us to Stephen. The first time I came to this church was probably 8 or 9 years ago, and we had a humble singing group. Tala was our director, and I think Stephen tolerated us. We were not that good. But we came here a couple more times, and the last time we sang here was 3 years ago. And before Stephen got up to give the sermon that day, he said, "You know, what has happened to your singing group? You actually sound like musicians." I consider that a high honor from somebody like Stephen. Stephen was mesmerizing, as you all know. I've only had the pleasure of meeting Stephen 6 or 7 times over the years, but I was devastated to hear of his passing. But yet, I want to put a good spin on this. Instead of being a sad day, we can look forward to heaven. The hard drive in Stephen's head is going to be spinning so fast it may explode, in a good way. But from the Bible, it says in Psalms 95:1, "Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation." I think Stephen will be doing that whenever we see him again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those who come up already. And again, I want to remind everyone that we will be timely about this. Like, I love y'all, but I'm trying to be super here with y'all till 10 o'clock. That's a little too much extra quality time that I'm sure you don't want to see. We passed that many hours. It's not a pretty sight, family. I just want to say a little bit story about Stephen before I open up my back up. My mother always referred to Stephen as the good boy. Yeah. And true to what Letta said, my mother was particularly strict on all of us. She was an educator, and so my mother's idea of us having fun was Bible book reports. Yes. So I have this one particular memory, you know, or people, and well, I should say this. People then would come up to my mother and they would make comments like, you know, how there are some parents who are always speaking positively about their children. My mother didn't necessarily believe in that, not that she didn't believe to encourage us. She was just very particular, I would say, of what she would let out about us, because she was mindful to us. And it didn't matter how much we thought we were talented, that we were still servants. And she was very hard on us to remember that particular fact, and that we must always remain humble, because even those gifts didn't belong to us. Having said that, when people would come up to my mother, "Your children are so good," the first thing she would say was, "Oh, no, they're not." And one particular evening, I'm not going to tell too much of myself to say why I was getting a spanking. I should say that small kids don't get spanking, why I was getting a whooping. This was the moment these were PT years, which I call pre-2. It was just me and Stephen. We shared a queen-size bed. That's back when I was smaller. Maybe, yeah, well. And we had a long time. I was gonna say that. We shared our queen-size bed, and we were so little at the time, we would build a pillow fort down the middle, and at the end of every day, we would debrief in the pillow fort. So this particular evening, I had gotten a whooping, maybe for talking back to my mother, which I've been doing. And Stephen was the type of child who did not believe in the corporal punishment. He would, just a mere whisper of a possible whooping, and he was washing the dishes, scrubbing the floors, cleaning the toilet, and where I needed a little bit more convincing. That being said, I came into my room to debrief with my little best friend, and we pulled the covers over to go down in the pillow fort, and I was sniffling from being a little sore. In true Stephen fashion, he leaned over to me and he said, "And so, are you okay?" I said, And then he proceeded to say, if you just pray to Jesus to make you a good girl, he will make you a good girl, and you won't be a bad girl no more, Ansa. Why are you so bad, Ansa? If you just pray, Jesus will fix you. Of all the betrayal, let me just say that right, the pillow fort broke down and there was no communication. That was Stephen, always trying to save me, always trying to baptize me. He was just a good boy, all the way up. So, it's time to open the mic back up if anyone else has something else to share.
Sympathy and love to lots of love. My name is Jill Walker, and I crossed paths with Stephen, a good little boy, about 25 years ago, as I was Stephen's second grade teacher, and he was my teacher too. Yeah. And it was an honor to be his teacher. I learned a lot from Stephen. Stephen taught me a lot. So it wasn't just, we're all teachers, we're all learners. And Stephen was very special. I think of that, and I think of his voice. As you were talking and sharing the little voice, I can hear that little voice. I look at his picture, and I can see the smile that I used to see every day. There's a little less light in the world. He's passing. Still a lot of joy because he made a difference. I have a lot of memories, little memories of glimpses and slivers of him in the classroom. But the one that stands out most to me is his smile. He had this just bright and shining smile, and he never seemed to ever be down or out or sad. And he just had that way. And not only was his smile magnificent, but he was brilliant in his own being. His whole being shone. He just made everybody feel better. And if I was having a bad day, or he could make me feel better instantly. It was just that smile that he flashed. I see it in the pictures. I see that little boy, and he tugs at my heart, and I go right back to that time in the classroom, and I cherish those memories, and I cherish the time that I shared with Stephen. I'm sorry that I didn't know him as an adult. I think I met him many, many years ago, and I was trying to place the time, and maybe you can help me with that later. And I was just so astounded, because he was always tall and lanky, but here was this big, muscular guy, beautiful as always. I'm grateful that I was able to cross paths with him and have that time with him. And I feel very, very blessed in my life. He's made a difference not only in my life, but in all the lives of the people who have crossed paths with him. And here's to Stephen and all of what he shared.
Alofa. Sessanta farmers Sacramento. Ole usoleia Steve. O tashi o tamaita e whaamai tia roto. Ai a whaio o i sunga au whaakala i ngā wena. So se e kale sia e te mana ai e te mai whilena e wā. Why to mata fuile fama e tiro loto manuka tarina oi isi mea fuile e a tina eise na wena na wena e te ope faa anyway o a lua tau sana fama sina tau o na whaifau na wena lea. We have good members, very good members, very gifted members. But as a pastor, I visit other churches. I know there's some of rising stars in different churches. And I get jealous. I wish I had that members in my church. I even told Stephen, Stephen, is there a possibility to transfer to Sacramento Church? I don't put down how gifted musicians in the church, but as a brother here talks about, he dances behind organs. Impressive. So, hola from Toronto. I used to have to fully family child. Actually, I told Stephen, it really impressed me. The way you lead out in your youth choir, the way you lead the church. Really impressed me, inspired me. So someone who actually make a big difference in your life, you better tell him or express to whoever. He deserves to know. I praise the Lord. I even told Stephen that he impacted my life. One of the things that impressed my life more, we just had a camp meeting up there in Seattle. And there was a theme song that, the leaders of the camp meetings spoke about. We'll have things sing song. But actually make an announcement, unfortunately, we're not going to have the theme song right now because Stevens is actually at the hospital. Everybody was like, oh, wow, can we move on? But in fact, they respect Stephen so far, they hold that theme song until Stephen arrived at the campsite. Can you remember that? And he did show up. He did show up. He never missed his assignments to inspire people. He inspired me. I don't know about San Francisco Church. I wish more of other young rising stars inspired more people. And I see it. Pastor, io sono territorina more well for you and Tony, if you have a gift, you have a talent. Maybe Stephen's passing on, but someone has to replace Stephen. Someone needs to take charge. Man, he's very impressive. He's a gifted leader. Can you remember that? Amen. He commands from his generous way of leading. I guess we have more people to come because of Stephen's impact, not only in my life as a pastor, but for many other people in this church. Ele upole tuole whenai. E kua ina mai ea e se la au me lei ni fula. e fua mai e se la au le anga ni fua le. E le mawhai o na tātou, we cannot pick fig trees from the thorn bushes. We cannot pick grapes from a briar. But we see a fruit, a tree by the what? Its fruits. So therefore, a good man will bring out of good things, stores in his good hearts. A bad person bring out of bad things, store in his bad things, stores in his heart. Out of the abundance of the hearts. Out comes the outflow of what you live and what you demonstrate. This man cherish good stuff and bring it out of his heart. The community will be blessed by his giftedness. Blessed are those who are faithfully surrender and keep God the giftedness. And if they back at those who follow and challenge those who will step up into the place of leadership. Ile maroma stile fatai o sunga te tuina mo faso mai o lualo e stile famiglia na na sabo famiglia tele fa ana me kalisi so for isu. Amen.
Stephen is a musician as we celebrate Stephen's life. They do the Tuaumu Stephen. O te matare si a fierto tele o weta sono. E a tali'i o te māroa e a vui Solomon. O rona uso o tere la usona o ngalo ia o leania no patua. Vui semi e a na iava le a Solomon mai Samoa. O le lato to file e whanau e tina lotu o lafua o tua whio Solomon o lana tama o sori o mofi Tuaumu. Ia, te loe tele Samoa e latu te loa Solomon weta Solomon isa o no musisi ia, te tonu o Stephen e sawa e whanau mai tamate musisi tala angan nao o Stephen i me tuo tapa ia o mi whanau la e le musisi e non tama na o le uso tuo o non uso tuo e musisi e le e tuo e te mino asiasima e sausoa ia o malanga o tsaba tele o tausama o te o aia i tamane e ale maia e his talent no mawhawhaua lea i le tala ama o na mafa i le tua o tama au le tufa e rontina e le fu te mata musisi e le tua rontina ia le la o mokimo no mona wai o le island is talent for God. That's a talent from God. So I always ask this question, o sa ustani o mai students in Kansas. No mawhawhaua mo sitsi ako he will tell Stephen because of his talent. He's needed very much in the world and in life. We needed musicians, especially musicians that leads by God, musicians that give their life to God. Stephen. That's about 5 years ago, I think. I don't know my father, my work. My new students, I don't know what mind. Whatever moment, my forgotten. But I always asked myself, how come miracles happens in Jesus' life, Jesus' time, doesn't help now? Why not now? Two Sabbaths ago, I preached at my church in Malero. One week ago. And my mind was all with Stephen's lost. And I was looking for a scripture. My mind is there with Stephen's lost. I asked the question, miracles happen ago in Jesus' time, in the earth, on the earth. Why not now? Then I read Moses' story. Then I end up preaching about Egypt, Israel's moving out from Egypt. End up before Dari esen mai Israel manwala awale tuai Moses. And Moses himself died before he reached Canaan. Mo ko fai kau ile mo ko tukiro le orosima Israel. The same trip. They crossed the Sami Ulaula. Further down, they crossed the Jordan River. But the message I found mo learning my eno kele yete. Kanaka mau Israel na sao de Sami Ulaula. That was a miracle performed by God. I ako Sami di value di kamay lupa. Kanaka mau Israel o sao olosi di value di kamay. Kasya kanaka ele iau do yurkama o mosi pa mai na fa kalanga le ko ya Yosua wo ti Moses' life is finished, and that's the end of his service. Anybody serve on this land, the end is die. Oti. Then my mama may say to Elmi Cat, what look okay, you to Stephen. Polari Poina, Kamai, Polari Poina, Lendi, or Advala Aware, or Yokia, the baby boy Yosua. What's he must say? Well, oh my even my woman, that's the end of his work. Yeah. Ola mon mama. No sabi si may kani o ay attack Stephen. Laya oma. O Enoch. Ero ay o kere o lo le mono Stephen. Para isa is dead. Kaya na uso may ila. O faksimi for long dead. Let's come to Stephen. What? I didn't know your name is Enoch. Well, that's my name. Ako. But okay, listen, and listen very carefully. The Enoch you name after is the Enoch of the Bible. And the Enoch, your dad's name is Enoch, is the Enoch of the Methodist minister. Who relates to my mom. The Methodist minister relates to my mom. And they name your dad after the Methodist minister's name, Enoch. Enoch. But your name Enoch, you're named after the Bible's Enoch. So that's a difference. Okay? You grow up in life, keep that in mind. Enoch, your father, is the Methodist minister. Enoch, your name, is the name of the Bible. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for making me proud of you in your life. Thank you, God, for him. And I hope, mà nếu sẽ có, cũng mới sẽ có. Not only in the church and in the family. Thank you.
I thought of a song when I heard Madam, thank you. You remember Stephen from second grade? I know even in my college years, no teacher remembers me. That is awesome. That reminds me of that song that everybody loves to sing because he's such a grateful, gifted kid. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. That's fantastic. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm not going to be long. I just came to intervene for the correction of my older brother's naming of Stephen as Enoch. Anyway, it reminds me of a story. A taxi driver died and he went to heaven. And when he got to the doors, and the angel said, "Come up here." And what's your name? My name is so-so. What were you doing on earth? I was a taxi driver. And the angel looked at the book and he said, "Oh, great. Come on in. There's your kingdom right there. You're welcome to come in." He got a golden staff, beautiful gown, and he went in. And then a pastor who's been pastoring for almost 50 years died and he went to heaven. And when he got to heaven, the angel said, "What is your name?" I said, "I am Pastor Mark. I pastor one of the biggest churches in New York." Oh, I look at the Bible and the angel said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Pastor Mark. You're going to have to go to this section here." And he looked at it and he said, "Oh, it's not so good." As the pastor was going by, he looked at it and realized, there's that taxi driver he used to ride in his taxi down on earth. And he turned around and he said, "Wait a minute, that's not right. He was a taxi driver. I was pastor of the biggest church on earth." And the angel said, "You are absolutely right. When you were preaching, people were sleeping. But when the taxi driver was driving his cab, people were praying." Don't be sleeping. We're having a good time. So come up and share your testimony about Stephen. Amen.
Okay, so just a little insight on those who are not Samoan speaking. Those are my father's brothers. And yes, they are always like that. So yeah, you might want to get a ticket to next family reunion if you enjoyed that. So, having said that, family, yes, we want to keep things moving. Please come up and share. What a lot of people don't know is that the piano lessons actually started for me. Yes, I know. I hear inside, don't judge. So, again, this is pre-Tuaumu era. I was 8 years old. Stephen was 3. I'm not sure if my parents planned it this way, but we're all 5 years apart. I don't know. Ask them. Anyway, so my mother got the bright idea. She wanted me to learn piano with her. So we went to this private pianist, and he was teaching us, and of course, me being the diva that I am, he was trying to instruct me, and I was like, no. I want to do this. So after about 2 weeks of me not paying attention to the instructor, my mother thought maybe we should encourage her by buying a piano and putting it in our living room. And it did. Giant upright piano. It was smack down in the middle of our house in the sofa. And every night, my mother would hear these chords being played out. And she was so proud. And I could hear her tell my dad in the morning about how proud she was that I was really getting into our lessons. I must have been so open that it was happening in my dreams. So, of course, I stay up the next night, and I hear the chords being played out. It was Steve, at 3 years old, playing chords on the piano, upstaging me. So, I was so upset at him and so my mother, of course, eventually found out. And she, was like, well, let the baby play. But I was like, but Mom, you said you got the piano for me. Yeah, let the baby play. Just that quick, I went from being like, firstborn child to, roast beef left on the floor, just like 5 days old. So, I'm not saying this was my best moment, but I knew I had to retaliate. So I went, and he had his favorite Ninja Turtle t-shirt that he wore all the time. Yep, I cut it in half, straight down the middle, while he was still in it. I went straight on down the shirt, cut him up, and he was, I'm not saying it's my best moment, y'all, but Stephen started playing the notes around 3 years old. My mother canceled the lessons with me. Then we didn't hear anything about it. He never said anything. I don't know if it's because I cut his shirt. I don't know. Maybe. That might have had something to do with it. Then he turned 10. And of course, being the child that was prayed for, my father said, what do you want, my son? My beautiful, my beloved. Again, he ain't talking to my mama or me. He's talking to Stephen. And all Stephen says is, can I have piano lessons? And that's where it started. From playing chords and messing around when he was 3 years old, begged for piano lessons. It's the only thing he wanted for his 10-year-old birthday. By the time Stephen turned 15, his piano teacher was a classically trained reverend's wife who had retired at that time. And I'll never forget when we went to pick him up when he had, after so many lessons, and she turned to my mom and she was like, I have to tell you something about your son. And she was like, well, what is it? We've been doing, is he doing well? She was like, no, he's amazing. She said, I know it's only been 5 years, but I have taught your son everything I know. She said, at the point he's at right now, he needs instruction beyond what I can give him. She said, if anything, I've been learning from your son. And Stephen just took that energy and ran with it. So, I'm not saying pick on your little siblings and then it'll inspire them to be great, but there might be some truth to that. Whoever's next is your turn.
God is good. And all the time. Oh, sound really good. I used to sing. And then I stopped singing. So I'm not going to continue my testimony right now. But Stephen loved music. And just one little bit to tell you. When Stephen passed, I look at Tuaumu, I look at Lorenzo, and all of us were there in the hospital this last minute. It was a terrible. We couldn't hold on to our tears, but I look at the father and he was so miserable that day. And I think there's nothing I can do. All I was doing is thinking about when we start singing with the messenger. So I went home and called all the messengers if they can come and sing to help encourage our brother Tuaumu and his daughter and the rest of our family. We all split. We live in different areas of the United States. So some of them you can see tonight. It's from San Diego. And the rest are from Portland, Oregon. Some are in the Dallas, some they couldn't make it. But I'm inviting the messenger to come up to the stage to sing a song for our family here, especially the Tuaumu Lorenzo. That's on the stage. We sing the messengers. We sing everywhere when we have funerals here in the Bay Area. And a lot of it's we split. And Stephen trying to put the messenger here from our young people. And then, Tuaumu created a name for us. And instead of the messenger, we trying to call the messenger. And then I'm not talking, there's somebody's trying to mess me up. Anyway, so the name that Tuaumu called our messenger, since the new messenger, instead of the messenger, but call us the messenger. We are the last messenger. So this is the real messenger. So you're going to hear us. We're going to sing 2 numbers. Okay, thank you. I know one of the boys or one of the guys here wants to say something before we sing our next song.
But if there's a certain arrangement, you have to sing the parts, have to follow that music, and then it's a whole different level. But the problem is nobody had music. All we had was the CD from the Christian edition. Because one of my brothers was singing with the Christian edition too at the time. And so we gave we asked Stephen, we said, we don't have any music, but we have a CD. I said, oh, okay, I'll take the CD and listen to it. Well, like I said, this is complicated music. It's not music that you can put up there and play unless you're really good. So all he had was the CD. And he took the CD, we went to, I forgot where we were staying at the time. And then my brother Vaya called me and said, Stephen, probably a half an hour ago, I said, he got it. I said, what? I just couldn't believe that. He listened to the CD and he said that he can play it just like the way the CD is playing it. And sure enough, we came the next morning and we sang that song. And I just couldn't believe that anybody can. Well, my sister can do that too right now. But at the time, with that music, it's just, I just couldn't believe it. That Stephen can just listen to it and he can play it just the way that would if somebody saw it and he was playing from the music in front of him. So those really impressed me about him. And then every time I come back to this church, I know that you're here to worship God, but I can honestly tell you, I come here first for God and second for Stephen. Amen. I just love, I can just sit there and listen to him play all day. Even if there was no sermon, I would just listen to it. I just love it. And there's no doubt in my mind that God had blessed this church with the gift of music. And there's like his uncle's testimony. Maybe in God's infinite wisdom, he saw that there may be someone. It's your time to step up and take the mantle from Stephen. And I know, there are a lot of musicians in our church. All it takes is not only talent, but also your willingness to give your life and your heart and your talent for God. That's all it takes.
Well, I might as well take this opportunity to say a few words about Stephen. I'm one of the blessed persons in this congregation. I watched Stephen when he was born in this church, and I watched him grow. And I tell you, not to downgrade our young people, but I wish that all the young people had the temperament, the attitude, the personality of Stephen. I watched his kid grow. Him and his younger brother, to bless his heart, they really stepped up when they became young leaders in this church. I gotta take my head off of my brother Tuaumu and sister Tala for bringing up these children in a way that they were a blessing to this church. I have the privilege of watching these young people grow, and like I said, like some of the people said, they were teachers too, and they were very respectful. Never they speak to me with any harshness. Uncle, always uncle, and I was one of the uncles in the church, and I always called them, they were my nephews and children in our church. So I had the privilege to grow up and to watch these kids grow up. We all grew up together. I came to this church when I was young, 22 years old, when I came into this church, and I was a youth, and I watched them grow up and become youth. And it was a privilege to work with these children. And we soon lost a very talented young man in Steve and Tatupu too. I watched Tatupu grow, and I brought him as one of my assistants when I took over the Sabbath school. Watch that kid grow, and I knew that the Lord has given these children the gifts. And we are very proud to have them. And I praise God for them in their service in this church. So, while I want to take my head off for you and also my niece Lisa and the family. I pray that may the Lord continue to comfort me in the moments of grief as well as our church. Because he's part of our family too. And we are grieving just like you are for losing a loved one. Thank you.
Before we all fell in love with Steve and his gift in music, I think before he even came up, I think this church was growing up and fell in love with Florencia. She can paint a story. And even, not only the young people, but the old folks can really tune into her stories. And when the two of them now share their gifts to the church and raise the Lord. And we all have little gifts that God gave us, whether it's 10, 5, or 1. God can make a big impression on you and to help draw people to Him. Praise God for His gifts and sharing His love and God's love with the people that appreciate it. Marisha and the family, also Taylor, is sending his love, and he could not make it. He's not quite well yet in trouble, but he is sending his love to the family.
Last messenger. I thank God for the beautiful opportunity to be here. So my folks are for Enoch, Travessia, and our community of being in San Francisco. Hello, for Tuaumu Vaili, Samoan magician. There's a magician. It's like Titi there. Magician. Really humble man. Blessed is the divine love that connects us all, that flows within us, through us, and around us. The struggles that we go through is really divine blessings, disguised blessings that we see as struggles, and then our human eyes, we only look at it as struggles. But it's exactly what we need for our enlightenment, for our growth. What we go through in life is blessings across all the fields, from Lady Sister Mary to Jack the Ripper. These are all love. Everything is love. All is love. All is of value. No one, no thing is of any less. Let's keep that in mind. From the homeless to the richest. It's all God's love. God is in everyone. I don't really have a relationship with Stephen, a close relationship like between me and some of these guys. The only relationship I have with Stephen is my blood, he's my bone. We share the same last name. The first time my kids found out that they have a talented uncle. They went to a camp down in Southern California. And they saw the program, and the name of the person that's conducting this music had the same last name as them. They came home, they were so proud. He told me, Dad, did you know that you have a cousin that knows how to play piano? And I smiled, and I knew exactly what we were talking about. I thought you said, fine. Gary, that's my uncle's son in San Francisco. You met him. And they were so looking forward to the next time they come up here, they would meet him. My man Stephen. And every time I get a chance to hear him play, I say to myself, that's my blood. And basically, Stephen, his ministry has outgrown where he is. It's exactly what my dad was saying. His use has been overdue. It's done. And it's time for him to move on. And when we look at that, we see that the blessing that Stephen brought to us is exactly what we are going through right now. So let's not be sad. Let's not be down. Let's not be heartbroken. Let's be fulfilled. Let's be enlightened that there is a much more beautiful and a much more higher purpose that we are rising up to in this. Stephen has done his work. And now it's time for us to continue that work and be enlightened, be fulfilled, be blessed. I'll tell you.
We just arrived this morning from Seattle. I am one of the youngest sisters My name is Boy Tuaumu. I have 3 Matai titles, and I'm going to say it all today. Number 9, Florence, my beautiful niece and so talented here sitting next to me. Tuaumu Vaili. And this is the 3rd time I am still here in this chamber. And more than every occasion, it's always a sad occasion. We traveled all the way from Samoan Thursday night. My mother is 88 years old. And then I hesitated to bring her because it's complicated knowing her age. 10 hours flight, it's a long trip from home. But I wanted to bring her here today to say farewell. Why is it always, well, as Christians, as my brothers would say, we are daughters and sons of our beloved Father. God, I am so proud of him today, that his name is printed out there. It's the late Reverend Tuaumu Vaili. And the album, Malo Manumalo, Mitotisi, Kalesia Mitotisi, Samoan named Martin Luther. They've served the Lord 49 years, and they retired on the 1996, and my dad passed away in 97. Sometimes I am jealous that I wanted my talented nephews and nieces to go after my dad's footsteps and become the most dedicated and pastor of all, serving 7 different villages in American Samoa. That's why I was born in Lodi, and then traveled to Western Samoa, and now we live in California. I wanted my brothers to come home and be with us, but they're here. And I am so proud today. I am so proud that they are here. Even though we all serve the same God. And I know my dad is so proud of Stephen. Yes, he was named after my brother, Enoch was named after one of the Methodist minister, Enoch. He was born in Faleula, and that minister was leading the church at the time. And he carried the name Enoch. And I am so thankful to our congregation here, Seventh-day Adventist, for all your praises and your kind words of wisdom, praising my nephew, so talented, and given all his life to serve God. And that is why I am so proud. Even though we first came here to say farewell to Tuaumu, and there was such a horrible tragedy also. I cried and screamed when they told us to call us the accident. And then Tawa, we came here with my husband 3 weeks before she passed. And then when they called on that day, and Stephen couldn't make it, my mom cried and screamed. We were at the hotel. We were celebrating another happy occasion at the same time. There was a minister, my cousin was a Methodist minister, comforted her. We were so scared that something might happen to her. So that is why we wanted to bring her here today. I thank you, congregation, Seventh-day Adventist, the Reverend, and the wife, and thank you so much for all you've done for Stephen. I know we all missed him. Why is he got such a talented gift from God? And he gave it all. He gave his life. I know when we come in to visit my brother and his family, they were always coming to church. I wanted to, share some, like we go to the movies or we have to go dinner somewhere. No, there's always a church, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh my Lord. And me and my husband, we talked. I said, I don't know, I wanted my niece and nephew, we can go back to the movies. But here we are, we go back to Samoa, and I just said to my husband, maybe they were meant to be. And that is why, see now, I know she's impatient right now. Anyone that's standing, she said, yeah, well, I want. And I have to battle them back. But Tina, I wish she understood what I'm saying. Tina, we need to, we are still. But the woman went on it and I told her to Esther, thank you, Toa. I know you hear us from heaven for such a talented, and also my niece boys. They say, I'm so proud of you. I know you got that from me. I'm really proud, but you're giving it up to the Lord. And I thank you. I am just elected also as one of the standing committee of the Methodist Church. So we just finished our conference in a bit, and it's one of the highest positions in the church. Even though I'm not married to a minister, my mom wanted me to be. But I'm still serving the church as they wanted me to be. I gave it all. I'm serving the church. And I know my brother too, Stephen and Claricia. Thank you. Everyone, we know it's really hard for us. It's such a terrible tragedy, but we all know as Christians, it is not so new morning day. This is not what we know. Samuel talked to the morning. It talked to the father. In the Malay way, father, we talked to the morning, father. When the more play next to the tower tattoo, we went to the woman, but tell it to the women tattoo in the man of money. While I'm like, that woman in the ear from now. For the money of the fee about it. Thank you all for coming. And thank you for taking that.
Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm going to try to talk without crying because I love my brother very dearly. But I thought it was only best that they see some youth up here because that's what brother was all about. And before I start, it's nice to see you. I'm Gracie Lala. I'm the daughter of Asafan and Tai Lala, and I came to represent just to let you know, Sissy, and hopefully not that I'm very good. And if no one told you, Sissy, you've been a great big sis. Not just to Sissy and to, but to all you. I can speak on behalf of everybody here too, from San Jose down to Frisco. You guys have been one of the symbolic people that have planted seeds for our spiritual growth. I'm happy to say I'm one of the board members of my church. I'm serving with all my heart. I'm doing what I know because I drifted from God before. And the same consistency that brother has shown was that love that we experienced from God. And I encourage each and one of you, all of you youth, all on the brochure, all the brothers and sisters that are listed there, I can say that you guys probably experienced the love that we've also experienced from Stephen. He ain't never flipped, he ain't never changed on us. And that love that we needed when nobody else showed us love up in this church, that was what we felt too. And I'm not saying Frisco church, I'm talking about just church in general, because church can be very cruel. You know what I mean? When you try to serve, when you're coming from a different name, when you're coming from a title, guy, whatever it is. You know how Samoans be acting sometimes, okay? That's what I'm about. I need church, don't play. But what I'm saying is that when you got a gift, when you got a voice, don't let nobody despise you. The Bible is such a beautiful thing when you're taught how to walk with the Lord by yourself. It is a blessing when you can trust in the Lord with all your heart and not leaning on your own understanding. And my brother here, he's such a big-headed brother. A lot of people talk about the music, but to me, he was my spiritual counselor. He was that intellectual brother that I can talk to and really break things down, especially when it came to biblical things. When I needed to argue with someone other than my dad, he was the one that I was like, no, sis, you need to relax. Let Jesus be the judge, okay? Don't always try to change your livelihood on this, and that. You need to be patient. You need to endure, show mercy, long-suffering. There's another part of God. Many people want to throw out the wrath and the law, but forget the mercy seat that the law sits on. And so I just want to encourage you guys, youth, my alarm sisters, April, I see Amber. I see you guys just when we were little with you guys, how Stephen loved on you. He was that big brother to me. I remember he would always take them for the team too sometimes. He was punching trees during Pathfinders, couldn't find us. I remember I was down there, we would be at church all day from sun up to sundown. And I'm like, girl, let's go to McDonald's, let's go take a ride. And he knows the kind of mama he has. And he still took one for the team. When we came back, we for sure we got it. He got beat up, and then my mama felt bad for him that she beat me up. And normally mama would even beat us in public like that, but she was totally Tyler number 2 that day. And I'm just saying, with all the experiences that you guys go through, don't come to church because of your parents. Don't come to church because, you got somebody over here for a reason. You come because you love the Lord thy God. And one thing that I love about brother, I can share about this. I shed everything off my heart when brother was living and still had breath in his life. And I don't want to share all those moments. Those are my moments. I'm going to be selfish with those moments. But I will say this about brother. When it was time I took him to one of his last chemos. And the people came, the palliative team, and as protective as I am, I'm like, I'm going, because I'm not to advocate for you. I ain't trying to have these people push something on you that you don't want, bro. I'm going to go over there and be your voice, because you for sure don't say nothing when you need to say something. And he always told me, Grace, you always doing the most, but yes, sis, you come. So I went there, and the palliative team came, and they said, it's the end of life stages. What palliative care, hospice care is taking care of people who's on their respite, pretty much in end stages. And brother shared with them, no. I'm not going to go on hospice. I've seen what hospice done to my mom. I've seen how she lost her mind. And I don't want to go out like that. I want to go out knowing with all my mind. And the palliative team said, okay, well, you look so confident. You're so young. What's this peace that you have? What is this that you have because you're so young. I don't know where you guys get it from. Brother broke it down to shared his faith. Told him this peace comes from God. This peace is what the Bible has told me. This faith that I have. I've seen death so much. But death, where is thy sting? Where are you when I know the hope that we have in Christ? He told them that I've seen my brother die. I've seen my mother die. And I'm not scared of death. Because I know that we will meet one day by that mango tree. I might just visit the mango tree, okay? Talk so much of it. And I just want you guys to know that it is in those moments, in those trials, in those turmoils, that God can use you still to be a blessing to others. He can use your scenario, he can flip it, and he can totally make those people be so amazed because that peace is only coming from God. It passes all understanding. People don't get it. And they want it. And if you guys show it and go and plant those seeds like brother did, man, what a beautiful world. Jesus would definitely come again. Amen? Because the only hindrance is each and every one of us doing that work. And so I just wanted to come up here and say that I love you, Enoch. I love you, Flo. Again, we be sleeping on Flo. And just because brother's gone, you better stay in the youth, sissy. Help them. And I know that a lot of people are in disagreement with brother wanting Oshkosh, but you carried out your brother's wishes. And I hope you accept that too. Know that and God even sustained him. Even when he came back, he's still ready to send him back to brother. And so I love you guys. Thank you.
sister. I just want to share a couple moments that I remember from Stephen. My name is Israel. One of the, actually two of the kids from our school. The first time I heard about Mr. Stephen was from my oldest son. And it was because every day I went to pick up my son. At the end of the day, I always asked him how was it? And that day I remember my youngest son told me, "Oh, hey Dad, you know what? Chris got kicked out from the music team." He said, like, "What?" Yeah. So I was kind of, like angry, but also I wanted to ask why, because I know my kids. So I asked him, "Why you got kicked out?" And he told me, "Oh, because I was not behaving." And I said, "So who kicked out? Who kicked you out?" "Oh, it's Mr. Stephen." I said, and you know what? There was a thing that came in my mind. So in that moment, he earned my respect. Because I know my kid. And my mind was, if this guy was brave enough to kick him out, because that one hurt him a lot. And so hurt me too. But this guy earns my respect. And from that day, from that moment, I know that he was always, serious. And I thought at one moment that he always was like angry, But it's not because, you guys know more than me, or you know him more than me. That it's not because he was angry. He was like, his personality was like that, He was always working like, So I remember that first moment that I knew about him. And then of course I met him, in person, and we talked sometimes. And I remember last year, I told Miss Flo and Steven that I was going to start a new journey. And he came and started talking to me about, the difficulties that I was going to find on the way. But he said, never give up. And that moment and those words, I kept it. And last night, I was at home. I was reviewing some videos. And I found a video, you remember, 2 years ago. And the people who were here in that concert remember. I always like to sing with people because when I came here the first time and I heard you guys sing and too many voices, I felt like I was in heaven, honestly. And I saw the team that they just sang. And I always like to sing like that. And when Flo invited me to come to the Thanksgiving concert that year, I said, I have to sing in English. That was my thing. I have to sing in English, but I have to sing a song that everybody knows so they can join me at the moment. So I told Miss Flo, I'm going to sing this song, but I need one more guy. And I know that he was a great musician. And I thought, can you ask your brother? Because I was not even, I was afraid to ask him. So I told Miss Flo, hey, can you ask your brother if he can join us and sing with us? So she did, and he said yes. And we sang here the song Home. I think most of you know that song. And I was too happy that I sang that month. I didn't know that was the last time I was going to sing with him. So that's the other memory, because that year also they invited me to join them for a song. Remember? I forgot the name, but it's Hallelujah, I think. Glory, Hallelujah. Yeah. Honestly, I was not the one who was gonna sing that night, because originally it was my son. And Paul asked me, can you join us, because there's a part in Spanish that I wanted to sing. I said, I can tell Christopher, yeah. So I asked Christopher. So when we came back Friday for the rehearsal, I sat over there. They were doing the rehearsal over there with the choir. I was so impressed, and my son was too, that he said, Dad, I'm not singing with them. They're so good. I'm not singing with them. But we already told him, no, you do it. And I was so nervous, because I saw Mr. Steven, doing like seriously, and he wants everything perfect. It's like, but how am I going to sing with them? But praise the Lord, we sang that night. And that moment, and all the one I told you, that I kept it in my heart. And have that video. I will share it sometime. I'll pass it out to you, so you can have it. So you guys have to know about this life, about music, right? So I didn't wanna live without telling you this promise that I found in the Bible that was comforting my heart last night. And it is on First Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. It says, For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangels, and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. Amen. I believe this promise. And I believe Mr. Stephen will be one of them. I want to be that day. You want to be that day too? So I hope that we will prepare to meet him again that beautiful day. God bless you.
Hello, Noah. Sorry, that's all I got. That's all I got. But we just wanted to come up here on behalf of our family, my grandma Nora, my parents, Fred, believe me, Nora, my husband, my family, and our condolences, our love, prayers to the family. Just saying how beautiful soul Stephen had. We wanted to just take this time to share.
So just recently, we invited Florencia and Stephen to come to the house and just fellowship, laugh, talk. And Nora and Edney prepared a meal for them. And one of the things that we were talking about when we were preparing is how healthy this meal had to be, because Florencia had told us that they had changed their diet and they were eating healthier. And so we kind of scrambled and fruits and vegetables and things that they ate. And of course on Samoan time it's, a little after 2 hours. So we're sitting there starving, waiting, and Florencia tells us they're, parking. And so we wait, and we wait, and we wait. And Stephen was having a rough morning. I'll just say that. And we told Florencia, it's okay, it's okay. She goes, no, my brother said you're hungry, so you guys need to eat, and we don't want you guys to wait too long. And they came in, and they ate, and we fellowshiped. And one of the best things about that moment is we listened to Stephen cap on Florencia, cap on everybody, and he was just so humble and so kind. And I am just so thankful that we had that day with him. We told him that we loved him. We told him that we're continuing to pray with him. And he said, if you don't see me soon, we'll see you sooner in heaven. And it's just, it was such a blessing to have that moment with him, with our family. And afterwards, after we ate, we called the kids and come get the plates and stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's too bad, you don't have kids to kind of take your place. But I got plenty of kids. I've got plenty of kids. And he spoke about the youth, and he talked about how dedicated he was to his family, and it was just a very humbling experience to be in the presence of a godly man, a true godly man. And it was, Florencia, I just thank you for bringing him in, for sharing that morning with us, or afternoon, and our hearts is so great.
All right, so I grew up in the church here with the Vaili family, so I definitely felt anti-slaps, ear pulls, hair pulls, all that. Uncle, he always showed me love though. I don't know if he just felt bad for me, or he always gave me a handshake. We just had this non-talking, non-verbal communication, just a hit line. I was thankful for it because I didn't want to feel that hand either. I grew up with the Vaili family. Florencia laughing at her, my sister getting in trouble. Poor Stephen watching Tuaumu grow up. For Stephen, it was always like he always had this mature thing about him. So it was always kind of awkward when we would talk because I'm older than him, but when he spoke, I felt younger than him. His voice was deeper. His words were piercing and kind of things. But he always had love. He definitely motivated us. And just one of the things that was always constant is walking through those doors and seeing Stephen on them. And so we miss Stephen, we love him. I just want to share a verse, just for a little encouragement, not only for the family, but for us. And it's found in Ephesians 3:17. It says, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, have power, together with all the Lord's people, to grasp how wide, how long, how high, how deep is the love of Christ. And to know that this love surpasses knowledge. In the outside world, they hear that we're at funerals and there's despair, there's loss, they don't know what the next step is. But as followers of Christ and understanding this love that surpasses understanding, we know that this love also comforts us during this time. It's something that our human minds can't comprehend. As much as I love my kids, and I share with them, as much as I love you deeply, Christ loves you even more than that. And I know you can't understand it. So let's hold on to that love to comfort us during this time. Again, we love you. Thank you for this time.
I'd like to call my family up so we can do this together. My 3 daughters and my wife that's here. Maybe my son's here. No, they're not here. As they come up, everybody's been talking about, taking Stephen's place. For the last couple of weeks, we have to get the Alpha Festa together, the big Alpha Festa and the youth choir, right? 5 of us. Yesterday, Uncle Tala yelled at the big Alpha Festa. Yesterday, April, she yelled at the Alcalabo Festa. Last week, I was the first one to yell at the Alcalabo, and then my nephew, the one that plays the piano, Felix, he yelled at them too. And during this whole time, I used to remember Stephen never yelled at them. And I used to get mad at my nephew, I used to tell him, I said, just make one of them cry, then everybody will listen, right? And that's the Samoan way to conduct the choir, right? But not only was Stephen talented in the piano, he was a really good bass player, upright bass, jazz bass. He really loved the jazz bass. And he loved to play his tuba and his baritone too. And he used to bring it when we used to go down to the Walgreens in gathering. And we used to make a lot of money because we look like people with instruments like record and stuff like that. So everybody used to bring a lot of stuff in.
My cousin Ernie used to always have Stephen play for him when he came here. And he used to always say, man, Stephen can make anyone sound like a professional. And he could. Because, we all know his talents. He graduated from San Francisco State. And I remember him telling me the story of when he was standing there trying to get his classes. And there was a long line. He got to stand in this long line, right? And then he seen these guys walk by, right? And he goes, why are those guys going to the front? They go, oh, it's a soccer team. The athletes go first. And then some tall guys walk by. He said, don't tell them, the basketball team. Then he said some guys walk by, look all out of shape and stuff. He goes, hey, who are those guys? I said, well, that's the band. He said, okay, next year I'm joining the band. But, you know what? Like my nephew Eddie said, Stephen, he was more mature. Brother Tuaumu, man, what a good kid. Now let me tell you something about my niece, the bully over here. My nephew Tuaumu, man, this guy got good hands. He listens to what he's doing. I told Tuaumu, I said, you know what? One day you're going to grow up to be the Messiah of your family because you're really smart. You do everything for the family. Of course, she went home and told his sister, right? My niece texted me that night, Florence. She said, well, your Matai is over here doing my dishes. So my poor nephew, when I seen him the following day, I said, you're going to be the Matai to everyone except for your sister. Yesterday, as I was sitting here looking through the song books and stuff like that, we have an old blue song book. And that's the one actually my sister Tawa had put together. And that was actually our rise to being a really good Alpha Pesi. I'm going to be real. Everybody knows I speak Alpha Pesi. When they go to the Fighting Aleos and you meet them with the Methodist Church and the Lamosa Church, all they say is, Alpha. You know what I mean? But when Stephen, man, he started doing it and giving us these songs, we went to this one Methodist church in Palo Alto, and it's like, when we sang, they were actually listening. And then when we got up, I was like, that's right, that's us. You want to hear it again? All right, yeah. Praise God, man. Praise God for Stephen, what he's given us. And that's actually my feeling. My nephew passed away. I said, the reason why my nephew passed away, I said, because we're lazy. God said, you know what, Stephen's doing too much stuff. You guys need to get up and start handling business. And so I hope we can just do whatever Stephen did. If we really love him, it's not by our lips, it's by our action. And hopefully we can carry on what he started.
Okay, about Stephen. When these guys are like your kids, Sister Tyler, I kind of like her because, she's mean. But, like, the kids, they all have different talents. Like, and such as Stephen, very talented in what he does. Tuaumu, he does always else. But the thing is about Stephen, he's really quiet when he comes around in Florencia. But when the week before he passed, he kind of like spoke, and I was like, wow, you can talk. And he was like, Grandma, you scared me. I thought you're only like the Florencia. And I said, why would you think that? Because when you see me, you just go, and then you walk away. And when you see Nancy, I go, hi, Tommy. I'm like, boy, watch your lips. But anyways, Stephen's going to miss him a lot. And Brother Takwala, he's strong. Brother I love you all.
All right, I'll be right back. And I was screaming out, oh, yep, I'm going to go get that too. We're going to go get your label so we can put it in the freezer for you. But me and Steven, the Sunday before he passed, it was just me and him, so we had a one-on-one, and me and Steven haven't ever really had a one-on-one, and it was just really touching to just be with him and fellowship with him and to exchange things that we haven't been able to exchange for a year. I'm going to miss Steven a lot, and my son is too. Oh, and I'm speaking on behalf of me, my sister Tiara, and my sister Thomasine. She would sing a song, but she didn't come up here, so we don't sing. But I love you, Sissy. I love you, Uncle. And to my family, I love you guys, and we're here for you guys. Thank you.
Like tell her, alcohol, come on, get ready. Let's get up here, things getting close. And you know how French is, she was going to shut the mic off. So, let's start it off.
My name is Amber, if you don't know me, and this is my fiancé RJ and my daughter. We all know Stephen as a great pianist. But I know I'm not a great brother. And a great uncle to her, Disney. I'm very thankful for all that he's done. I'm gonna miss him so much. And if I can remember the time, we didn't really fight a lot. I mean, we messed around, but when I really got mad at him was when I was in high school. And, I'm thinking, Stephen is so smart, he can help me with my essay. So I'm like, okay, Stephen, can you help me with my essay? And he's like, oh, sure, of course. So we're going back and forth. He's like, no, that's not how you do it. I'm like, no, this is how my teacher told me to do it. He was like, no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I'm like, I'm getting so frustrated, so I cried myself to sleep. And then he tells Edson, like, I don't know what to do. And then Edson's like, well, you gotta figure out something. So he ended up doing my essay for me. And I didn't even know, he didn't have to do that. But after that, he was like, so what did you get on your grade? I was like, I got a C. Like a C, at least a B. And I was like, I know, that's what I thought. But no, I got a C because you didn't listen to me. Yeah, that was our relationship. We always used to mess around like, siblings do. And I'm gonna miss his relationship with my daughter the most. He would get so happy seeing her. And he loved his niece so much, and he loved RJ as well as a brother as well. And I just thank him for all that he did with our Pathfinders as well, and keeping our youth active in our church, and especially in our Pathfinder club. We could have been anywhere else, but he made Pathfinders and being here fun, and to fellowship with each other is. I'm grateful and thankful for relationship that we have, and just having another family here is such a blessing. And I just thank him for all that he done in my life and my baby's life, and also my fiance's life. And
thank you. My name is Richard Aolua, aka RJ. I'm son of Richard and Pua Aolua. I didn't really want to talk because I don't know. It seems like statement. I'm good. I get it. Man, speaking with Stephen, like every time I was seeing, like, I'm not sure if any of you guys felt that way, but then, like, when you're about to speak to Stephen, you just don't know what to say, because he's just so, like, this dude's so mature, and you're not sure what to talk about. But man, like, he knew that I was a sports person. He knew that I love sports. I love watching, like, all that stuff. But I knew he didn't like watching any of that stuff. But then he started talking to me a lot about sports, a lot about football, and then I told him, like, I didn't know you like that. Like, I don't. I just watch it because I miss my brother. And man, he every time, like, he'll counsel me about me and Amber's relationship. Like, he always came from the good side. Like, he was so calm, and just always had some good words to say, good advice. And then when it came to sports, like, he would talk to me, like, you remind me so much of my brother because he loves sports. He was so active with, like, sports and all. And that's the only reason why I like talking to you about sports, because it reminds me of my brother when he used to just, like, his brother used to just ram all in on about sports, and then Stephen would just look the other way, just chilling. But now, like, he was just, like, watching every team he liked, all because of, like, he missed his brother. And I just want to say, I thank him for, like, just being that older brother and being that other mentor to me, like the mentor Amber and I's relationship. But I also thank him for just loving my daughter. Like, one thing I know from any of the uncles from Amber's side, that was my daughter's favorite uncle. Every time, like, she came to church or something, and I didn't come with them, but she'll come back with either a toy or something, and I was like, who gave it to her? And then it was always Stephen. Stephen was always the one buying her toys, buying her something, buying her books, made him buy her books, because he was always an educator. He always wanted her to keep learning, keep reading, and that's what Stephen was. He was way mature for his age. I love him like a brother. I thank him for counseling Amber and I, our relationship from where it started to where it is now. We were stronger, and he was much of that help because of him. And like he always said, when the last time I spoke with him was probably a few days before he passed, and I just went to go say my goodbyes to him, and then like I said, Stephen really went to the church, and like a year ago, I recently lost my grandpa. We saw more if I feel my God. And the way he spoke to me, like I was speaking to my grandpa again. So humble, so mature. And then he said, I know some people don't look at you the way that your grandpa used to look at you. Because, man, that guy was my best friend. He was like, to us grandkids, he was everything to us. And after I lost him, there was no one I could really talk to. And then he said, I see what your grandpa sees in you. I want you to be better than what you are now. Like, I want you to take care of my sister. But then, like, he was so soft-spoken. Like, he didn't cry. He didn't cry at all. But when it came to my daughter, he started bawling. He would just say, please don't let this girl forget about me. Don't let this little girl forget about me. And I just want to say to the brother while he's resting right now, till that day comes, Amber and I won't let her forget about you. You meant so much in our lives, and I just want to thank you again for your counseling. Thank you to the church family. Thank you for everyone letting me speak. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a good day. Let's keep the spirits up. Sorry for crying. Thank you for letting me talk.
Before I go down, I want to call the girls to come up, please. We're going to sing a song for Stephen. Stephen was, yes, true to what Amber said, he was not only a pianist, but he was also a good brother, a mentor. He played many roles in our church. He was a teacher to our youth Sabbath school class, who constantly encouraged and asked questions, made us think on the weekends. We were like, I thought we were supposed to be resting. Stephen made us think. He would ask questions that he will end up answering because we didn't know what the answer was. And something that took away from our little talks that we had, he always questioned during the 3 years and a half of the ministry of Jesus, he wondered why didn't he minister when he was a baby, But then it was not his time, Stephen has so much faith in God. I remember someone said music is a ministry. When I came to visit this church, I believe the music ministered to my heart. And I thank Stephen for that. Became a Seventh-day Adventist, even though my faith was strong. So sorry. And I know he was a fighter. Before we sing the song, we want to share the song, I Trust You, because he knew everything. He always tells us to put God first. Thank you once again, Uncle and Mensa, for sharing your statement with us. Happy Sunday, everyone. My name is Maria, also known as Rita. This is my sister, Melody. We're the daughters of Tuaumu. Our dad is related to Enoch. And Stephen was a really great brother to us. Anytime we needed anything, we would count on Stephen. He's my crying buddy. Like, I go to him all the time whenever I need to cry, or anytime I need any type of advice, or just to talk, just someone to listen. Stephen was a great listener. I have a lot of memories with Stephen, but my favorite memory of him was actually my first memory of when I really respected him, when I really got scared of him. You guys know Stephen has nice, soft-spoken, humble, but the other side is like, oh my gosh, I wish I never made Stephen mad. So we got into a sibling disagreement. It was pretty aggressive, and I remember I talked back to Ensa and Pasibli, and I thought Stephen would be on my side, so I'm like, trying to be all tough and whatnot, but Stephen looked at me, he was like, slap! And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I knew I was wrong, but from that moment on, I knew, like, Stephen, he really, really cared about me and my sisters. I just want to say, Stephen, thank you so much for everything that you've done for me and my sisters, and especially the youth. He always encouraged us, like, no matter what people say, that's normal. All the negative stuff, all the backlash, like, you just gotta go through it, and, you can never give up. Like, just keep praying, and your relationship with the Lord is the most important. So thank you, Stephen, for being my mentor, being my educator, being my delivery food. You always deliver food for me every time I ask him for food. Thank you, and I love you, and see you that great morning. Hi, everybody. My name is Melody. Everyone. Those of you who don't know, I'm Stephen's favorite little sister. You guys think I'm kidding. I'm not. Anything I ever wanted, ever, I could just ask Stephen. Like, I'm really truly blessed that I ever had Stephen in my life. He is the brother that I never, ever had. And I've always wanted. Like, anytime I need anything, like, I could just call Stephen. He'll be at work. I'll tell him my business, and we'll talk. If I ever needed him, if I was in a serious situation, I could call Stephen, and he'll be there for me. And me and Stephen really got close when I was a little girl, because we're both born second in the middle, so he calls me middle child. And the youth knows it. Well, the girls that are close to me, they know he calls me middle child. And he was the only person that ever heard me out. I always challenged him. I always asked him questions about the Bible, because I was always the one that, like, my faith was really weak with the Lord. And I would always challenge him too, like, so if God is so this, then why is this? And it would get to the point where Stephen couldn't answer my questions no more, because it just was left off with my faith at that point. And he would tell me, like, you really are smart. Like, you challenged me to the point where I couldn't answer your questions no more. It's just up to you.
if you believe in him or not. And I went to college and I stopped coming to church, so I really did stop coming to church. I strayed off for a little bit, but Stephen, he never changed the way he loved me, and I feel like he was an example of God's love. Amen. No matter what, if I never came to church, I didn't come to church half a year, it doesn't matter. He will still send me Bible verses every Sabbath and tell me happy Sabbath. He wished I was at church. He was just a blessing, and it's sad to see him go, but I'm happy to see him leave. And, he doesn't have to fight the fight that he's been fighting for a really long time. So I'm happy for him, but I'm sad, but I can't be selfish, And yeah, I love Stephen, and I can't wait to see him again.
Hello. I'm the baby sister, Myra. I'm sorry, I'm discombobulated right now. But I feel like I don't know what to say because, I've lost stuff with Stephen. I lived with Ensa and Stephen when I was going through a lot, and Ensa was always there for me. My second family, and I just remember Auntie Tao every time I went to sleep over, and at that time I couldn't do what I wanted to do, so I would make them ask for me. I would tell Stephen or Tupu, can you please ask so I could sleep over? But Stephen taught me how to cook rice. I could never cook rice. I always burnt it, or he would just make fun of me. I would force him to watch movies with me, or just do stupid stuff like turn on the game for me and play with me because Tupu's not around anymore. He taught me how to make rolls and just food. I'm sorry, that's all food. But that's very essential in Samoan culture. You have to cook. So, also, he's the best person ever. I feel personally some type of way because I didn't get to see him before, But Ensa did call us and she told us they wanted to see us, and I never got to make it to the hospital. But I just love Stephen. We love him so much, and his love never changed. And that's something I learned. And that also that family is everything. And that's something I did not know at first, but now I know because baby he loves us. So thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Ensa. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you, church family. Love you guys.
Ia olo wafa o ayumu tuaholo. When I first got baptized in this church in 1993, I seen this kid, he's very excited. He liked to play the piano. So that's the first time I seen Stevie, what is it? Le dice, okay, yo voy a ski, porque piano ski, piano. So I listened to him. Oh wow, this is pretty good. Well, we're going to Stevie. Hey man, can you play this song? What song? What is it? Oh no, you gotta have the notes. Oh man. You don't play 5 notes. Now. So I said, all right. And then the third time I said Stevie, I came up and I asked Stevie, can you play without the notes? He said, yeah, what song do you have? I said, I got this song. He said, okay, bring it. So I gave him the song. I said, I don't know how to play this song. So when I sing the song, I always tell Stevie, the song comes with an half note, right? He's been faithful. And when he played it, I thought I can sing it, right? So when he played, I said, it's too high. He said, that's all right. Just go ahead and sing, I'll play it. So I sang the song. He's been faithful. And he started playing. And then he can drop it down. I said, wow, this guy is pretty good. And then when he played it, and I was singing it, and I got kind of little, encouraging. I said, raise it up one more. And he went up, with a courage with it. I said, one more time, go up one more time. And he went up with a courage. And that's how I know, man. I said, Trinity, man, you were good. So I started, and I never seen Stevie all excited, like other people say, oh, yeah. I said, oh, man, you know what? You're the best Samoan piano I ever seen. Man, you should do this, you should do that. And Oscar said, yeah. And I was to his classes. Yeah. I know what you're saying. So, I really admire. And when San Jose and San Francisco get together, and I know I don't have to take any track, because I know Steve's here. So I come, I want to sing a song, and I come up and say, let me have the piano player play this song for me so I can sing it. And I give it to Steve, like, what song? This top tune. You want to then I sing. And that's where, I give me trust and say, man, Steve, man, you good, man. And, not like praising it, but in me, like, wow, this is the first Samoan kid I ever, to me, this is the first Samoan kid I ever hear him play this good. And he can play by just giving him the song that he knows. So from then on, I give you, the next time I see Stevie, I told Stevie, I'm trying to tell him, Stevie, our songbook? Yeah, the songs that are like, some of the songs like, oh, the tune is not good, man. You can use that, maybe you can tweak it here and there so you can make it more exciting. When you sing it, you're excited. But some of the, the Wasifiku songbook, it's kind of like, and I said, I can tweak some of the songs and make it sound more. And that's what I know. And the last time I see Stevie is when we practiced the song together for the camp meeting, for the Samoan camp meeting in Seattle, in Washington, right? And I never knew it was that bad. Stevie was that bad, and the sickness stuff. So I was thinking, and what he tells us, we were trying to our mind say, I was saying, but we never knew what. You know what Stevie told us that day? Stevie told us that day, you know what? We should practice the best song for the Lord. But you never know that it shall last. And that word stick with me and the head elder of the San Jose church. And we stood up and we walked out there and we were just, overwhelmed. Said, did you hear what he said? I said, I heard what he said. He said that, this must be his last. You got to do the best thing for the Lord. And he was right. And that was the last song, the theme song that the pastor was talking about. And we went up to the camp. And here we go. It's all Steve. No, Steve's not going to make it. So, we're not going to sing our song then. And next thing, Stevie's coming. No, Stevie's coming. Oh, yeah, okay. Next thing you know, he's not coming. And you know what? He finally made it up there. And we all got into this hall and practiced our song for the last time with Steve. And he came with the oxygen tank in a wheelchair. And I was right there. And I knew this young man, young man is chosen by God. And he knew where he's going. And I know that. I said, this man, he knew where he's going. So, to me, and the thing that crossed my mind, and then I went into my mind and said, like everybody was saying, I said, wow. Then I read the 1 Corinthians 6, verse 20 said, you're not your own. You don't own your body. You don't own your life. Once you baptize in Christ, in God, you are owned by God. Then I say, that's right. The next thing I know is when I think about maybe God tells Stephen already that he's done, right? Remember the start of Ezekiel? I said, no, that's not right though. Because, God said, Elijah to Ezekiel to tell him that it's his time to die, but he still didn't want to die. But, the thing is, all those things runs into your mind, you compare the person's life to the Bible. There's no comfort out in the world. Everything you can compare in the Bible. And I know where Skivvy is going and where Skivvy is resting. He's resting in peace. Because I know the other thought that came into my mind is said, and maybe Skivvy is a son that Hannah always prayed for. And Hannah always promised God that if you give me a son, and I'm going to give it back to you. So when Samuel, when God gave Samuel to Hannah, Hannah gave it back to God. And it's the same thing, I observe Steve like that. So, everything that comes to my mind, if I don't know what else to think about, then I compare your Christian life to the Bible. I always bring my something else to a person, I always bring it to the Bible. They compare. They say, why did pe moni le tua, pe moni le tua ya ma promises ma ya tatou, pe sa o pe le sa, ale le, look at what they did. But to my thanks to thanks to Stevie for the encouragement, not only for me, but for all the people in the church. And I hope San Francisco, to stay heads up. It's not the end of the world. The story about if you know the Bible, if you know God's word, it cannot stop you. The devil cannot stop you. The devil tried to stop you. But it's your time to say, speak or forever hold your peace. You know the story about Moses? Moses didn't reach Canaan. But you know where Moses is at? He's in heaven. Moses is in heaven right now. So Moses doesn't have to go to Canaan. He's in heaven right now.
My last words to Stephen, probably 2 weeks before he passed at the hospital, I told him, hang in there, Stephen. Those were my last words. And I told him that even though you can't talk back, cannot respond, just listen, So we sang some songs, but, so that he can listen to, said prayers and that kind of thing. And it was so sad to hear that he passed. But the one thing that the other reason why I told Stephen to hang in there was because I wanted to go home and I want to tell my granddaughter to pray for Stephen, because to me, in my mind, I thought that little kids, when they pray to God, maybe something will happen. So I went home and I told her to remember Uncle Stephen when she prayed. So every time we have our evening prayer, she would pray for him. So apparently, Stephen passed, and my granddaughter continued to pray for Stephen without knowing that Stephen passed. So after prayers, I kind of told her that to thank you, but Uncle Stephen, passed. And she said, "Oh, why?" I said, "I cannot answer that. Only God can. But Stephen is resting now." Ever since Stephen was small, and even Florencia used to climb up on this stage right here and do the children's story. And Stephen was singing at the piano at a very, very young age. And he was such an inspiration, especially, even to myself too, to see a young person sitting at a piano, playing piano. And there was one time, and this is a small confession, then I'll sit. I had a confession to say, because we used to come here in San Francisco from San Jose, so that when we have combined gatherings. So I love to hear Vespacena, every time when we do Vespacena. But this time, when I came, Stephen, how professional he plays the piano. So he was playing the chorus that we usually sing for Vespacena. And I was trying to sing, but he was playing it so professional that I could not sing the song, or I could not follow, and I told myself, man, I wish he could just play it now. Regular, make it simple, like we did before. But he's playing it so professional, I follow the simple song that he's playing, and but you know what? It was all good. We know how talented he really was. And there's a saying that says, when God gives you a talent, it's your job to make it happen. And I believe with all my heart that Stephen did that. He's now resting in peace, and we're all waiting for that day that Jesus will come again. Deep condolences to the Vaili family.
Amen. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's already shared something. If you absolutely have a burning testimony that you want to share, I would tell you please come sit in the front, because we are winding this down. And the ladies are beginning to prepare the food for the refreshments for everyone downstairs. And I would also ask that you please keep it short, family. We're not saying we don't love to hear you talk or nothing, but time is of the essence, and time is also fleeting. And time is something that Grandma is not plentiful with. So I don't know how many of you have your matriarch still with you, but happy wife, happy life translates on a bigger scale when your Tina is with you and she says walava, then that means she don't care what you have to say. It's time to go. So, I know it's a church and all, but better I do it than Grandma in her slippers. So, if you are so pressed and still have a testimony to share, please, there's space here in the front pew. When the Reverend sees that there is nothing but the water bottle, he is going to end it, even if it is not quite 5 o'clock. We're trying to give till 5. So once again, please, if you do have something to share, come to the front. And we can talk stories while we're doing refreshments downstairs, family, because there will be no more time after 5 o'clock unless you want to sit around and just fellowship afterwards. There'll be plenty of time to do that. His body will be here at 8 tomorrow. It's a small viewing time, 8 to 10, because we're going to start our service at 10, because we must be at the burial site by 2:30, which is why we wanted to give you time to speak and share today. I will not give any more stories right now, because I was blessed to have a life full of stories with this little boy. He is Big Stephen, piano musician to you. He's just my baby brother too. So, if you got something to share, even if you have a song, I'm going to request that you only sing maybe one verse and chorus, and maybe save the bridge and the extended version for the other time, and not do the 5th and 6th verse or the reverb and all that stuff. Please, we try to get you fed, family. We try to get you fed.
I just want to thank you all. Talofa. Thank the church for the generous supply issue for those of us who need it. And thanks for the few of you who laughed so I could just break the ice. I came up here when I was here for Tuaumu. I came up here when I was here for Auntie. So I just want to thank Uncle and stuff for really what you said earlier, and that's for sharing Stephen with all of us. He and I never really talked. Tupu did all the talking, right? And he was quite silent, but when we did say words, they were profound, or they were just funny. And I'm very thankful for, this is how I remember, right here. I'm one of those people that you do one thing for me and I'll remember you for the rest of your life. And this, it's all summarized right here. Where's Uncle Young? Right there. Yeah. So thank you so much. I don't want to get thrown a slipper at, so I'm going to get off now. But for for all of you who are part of the choir and everything, I'll be praying for you, that you keeping on. One day we'll all be together again by God's grace.
Amen.
Before I go on, I'm going to be in the tour. But here I'm there. I know two ten, my two thousand. I'm a foreign man with a name. Biona, Malo, my Samoan, Malaya, two for you, American, Salala, waited, Salala, a tour, yeah, more for me, I'm a North Fear. Yeah, I did if I had to someone mouth. I like to say hello to my brother, the Bassi family, the Bassi brother, Benaki Baya and all that. Yeah, Mr. Fui, I'm Matopa. Yeah, I'm far from Sacramento. I'm for the tour. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, the warrior for men. 3 years ago, you guys came with Pastor Willie Salofa. Yeah, kako mafuka foi in Sacramento. Yeah, the yearly tour of Maria for Lostuma. Yeah, and Mr. Fortina tour. Love you, Flo. Yeah, ole mulmau. Yeah, olo no, olo vine salado. Oawe kapsona. Yeah, matua male tinao or Steve. Tinino Toa, my Malaloa. I'm from Songi Leone. When I was little, we classmate Malo cousin or Toa. Mao Matuo Ileaonga High School, Leone High School. Yeah, Makamaya, we all met. Yeah, her parents comes to my parents. We all Kalamore, they talk and they have fun at my house in Leone, so we visit each other. But a month ago, we went to the camp, Seattle, Washington, and I was at my tent, and my daughter came. Her name is Felina. She goes, "Mom, Stephen asked for you. He asked for you where?" I said, "Okay, I'll go there. I'll go to the hall and say hello to him." So, that's the last minute, we hugged and said goodbye to him. Yeah, every time we have compounding, Sacramento, San Jose, San Francisco, I feel comfortable because I know I don't have to bring notes. I don't have to, when it's time for me to sing, I said, there's a guy up there. He plays classic, he plays anything, you name it. And I'm going to miss him. Last couple of weeks, I think when he passed in the morning, my grandson, his name is Boston, young dreamer. He said, "Mom, will you fulfill a dream?" I talked to Stephen, we'll contact and have our music together. Because if you feel music, so I said, well, just pray. Just pray. Boston and Lena, we all come together and kneel. Tuaumu Vaili. Every time we can't do nothing. No. Stephen, my viewpoint, he's always here. He's godly man. So I know him when this is 21 years now since we moved from Hawaii to America. he was like, what, 10 years? Yep. Yeah, well, he had a little for I know they found out. Yeah. But when we had a tour, we were for a tiny, they level start. On Tuaumu Stephen, he has talent, music. Yeah, he had a tour for I know, yeah, all yeah, neighbor. Yeah, after I moved to for Tuaumu tour, yeah, I said, I was like Samoan, yeah, Brother Vaili, close. To them, I to Yanini, yeah. After I love him, I love him, no.
At this time, I would like to call up Brittany to share our 2 songs, please.
That was beautiful. I just wanted to speak on behalf of my family. I am the wife of Tuaumu, son of Tuaumu Vaili, sister to Auntie Ese, and had the wonderful privilege of marrying into his family and meeting his cousins and aunties and uncle. And from the first time that I got to meet them was actually at our wedding. They offered to sing at our wedding, and I didn't know what a special opportunity that would be until our rehearsal. And my mom's family, my dad's family, a lot of musicians and singers in our family. But when Tupu and Stephen and stuff started playing, just everybody stopped. Because you know how wedding rehearsals could be kind of chaotic. But everybody just stopped and looked. I was like, what in the world? It was beautiful. It was different. And they sang "This Is My Desire" for our song, for one of our songs at our wedding. And Stephen was a happy guy. I didn't really get a chance to spend a lot of time with them. We came up for Thanksgiving and came to visit and for Auntie's funeral. And, he just struck me as a happy guy, and I didn't really get to know him too much until we came for Thanksgiving and found out how funny he was, and all the sunny stories he told us, and then Tupu would tell us about Sunny, who was also my brother-in-law. But the thing that struck me in the couple of times that we've been up here is his faithfulness and his passion and his love and dedication for God. And ministry is not easy for those of you who are in ministry here. And to be able to go through the things that I know he's gone through with his health and the passing of his brother and his mother, he still continued with all his heart and all his might to minister and still invest in the lives that I saw up here. And it just amazes me, his love for God, that he could still continue to give of himself fully in the midst of all that he struggled with. Amen. And that's really what impresses me the most. And I just thank God for his life and the encouragement that it is to me, and just seeing the life that he lived in all these pictures and all the testimonies that I've been able to hear. And my husband's been listening to this song, Katina's The Other Side, and just knowing that we will see him in heaven one day, and that God may not have healed him on this side, but God has healed him on the other side. And so he'll be dearly missed, but just thank God for the life that he lived and the strength that he lived it with, and all the lives that he prayed over and touched because of his love for God. So we love you guys, and we pray for you. And Junior loves you too, but he couldn't say it up here. God is good.
My mom is hugging me, and that's why tomorrow I will say a testimony tomorrow, so don't miss tomorrow. Let's have a special, unique relationship with myself.
Amen.
It's hard for me.
But I thank God that little by little every day, that He whispered to my heart and try to make me go through this. But I'll say that much tomorrow. So don't miss tomorrow. Joy, we got short tonight so we can go down and eat. Thank you all for coming tonight. So staying sa proyekto to pa fully ay paranoia por yung magkakaroon. Kaya nung tumulong to ay sumayon nito niya to para mo yung sa tinahay pa na naman to para sa po. Magagawa naman ba?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sandra. I had the privilege and the honor to work with Stephen. I worked with Junior Ministries, I got to go and visit him. And when I went there, I said, "Well, nephew, is there anything you would like me to sing for you?" He goes, "Auntie," we had a long conversation. He said, "I don't know if you remember, but you were my cradle roll teacher, my kindergarten teacher, you were my primary teacher, and then in Pathfinders, you were my friend's teacher, my companion, my ranger. Do you remember the song you made us sing all the time?" Because every time we had a 13-socket song to present, you always made us sing "His Sheep and Mine." And I was like, "I did?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, that's what you made us sing." He goes, "But I wanted to thank you, Auntie. Thank you for being my teacher, for teaching me that God's love is real." Amen. And then as the years passed on and as he got older and he was playing piano, I would ask him I said, "Can you play my song?" He goes, "Okay, Auntie, any song." And I go, "So just give me a note." He gave me the note. I said, "Oh, could you bring it down?" "Okay, bring it down some more." "Okay, bring it all the way down because my voice cannot reach way up there." And he reminded me that there is this song that I sang. It says, "Remind me the things that I love and hold dear to my heart are just borrowed. They're not mine at all. For Jesus lent them to me." So I said, "Oh, okay." So I sang "His Sheep and Mine" to him. I sang "Remind Me." And then I told him, "Stephen, thank you for your testimony of love for God." Every communion service we would have, the last testimony or one of the testimonies would be Stephen's. He will stand up and he will say, the text that was mentioned, that though he slay me, I will trust him. And he said, for as long as there is breath in my life, I will praise the Lord. So I just wanted to share our condolences to the family. We love you guys very much. Thank you also, Enoch and Tawa, Florencia. Thank you guys for letting Stephen be a part of our life.
Hello. My name is Tilomai Ma'ai Fatilo. My mom is Sandra Ma'ai and my father is Tuaumu Vaili. I had the privilege of growing up with Stephen and everyone else here at church. You guys talk about how good he was in music. One of my favorite memories was when he took over the drill team. Because he was younger than half the drill team, so we played around a lot. And then when he yelled at us, everyone was like, ooh, Stephen's mad. Everybody stopped talking. I remember I was always the the shortest, so I was always at the end of the line, and I tried to be cute one time and go in the front. And Stephen said, when you can look and you see over everyone's head, then you can be over here. And then he started laughing because he knew I stopped growing already. Stephen, I was able to see him in the hospital, and we were able to have a heart-to-heart. Our relationship had strained over the years, and we were able to lay everything to rest between us. And I will forever praise God that I had that moment with him. One of the last songs that I sang up here on my own and he got to play for me was Pass Me Not. And I'm going to sing it now. If I cry, I'm sorry. If you know it, please sing along. My name is Ruth Unatoa. I'm from the Sacramento Samoan Church. And you know, I just want to say this because I'm so glad to see senior citizens come up here and give a testimony. Only because that's how Stephen affected all of us, all ages. From the youngest, like the little babies that one was sharing, all the way to us older people, senior citizen. And you know what? I can say that now with a good heart because when I was in my 40s, when my husband was alive, he used to call me Lobakua, you know, and say it in front of my church, and I used to get so mad. Well, now I can say I'm a Lobakua because I'm a senior citizen now. So it's okay. I can take it now. But I just want to say, the last time I saw Stephen was at our camp meeting. And praise the Lord, we were packing up, almost ready to go, when Florencia and Stephen and Riley pulled up to the side of our car. And so we had that chance to say goodbye to Stephen. Didn't know that he was going to pass, but we had that chance to give him a love and a hug, to tell him how much we love him, and to let him know that we're all praying for him. So I just want to say, you know, Stephen has touched so many people's lives. And like I say, from the youngest to the oldest. And I didn't want to go today. You know, I didn't really have a chance to say it when his mom passed away, when his brother passed away. There's 3 of them now that have passed away. I have to say something because I love them so much. The whole family. We love them. We have worked together since we were
very young, when we were first fresh in the ministry. I remember my husband working with Enoch for the young couples, Kalapufola, the Seafarers Club, way back then. So they have a special heart in a special place in our hearts, me and my family. These are my daughters, Rachel, Radiance, the youngest. The oldest one is not here. She just had surgery just a couple of weeks ago, so she won't be able to be here. But I wanted us to say a few words. Thank you for the Agamo. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go, he says. I go and prepare a place for you. I will come back again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there thee will be also. Amen. Just like Stephen, we can have that upper voice. Yes,
amen. I just wanted to say, well, my mom wanted us to come up here, but I thank God for this opportunity. We've been here for all of the funerals, and it's such a sad loss, but just looking at the piano in the corner and the choir, and there's so many people that share so many memories. And one of the conversations that Stephen and I had many years ago was he collected bulletins during people's funerals, and one of the things that him and I had talked about is we were talking about it. He goes, every funeral that I go to, I would collect and take the bulletin home with me. He's like, and I always wonder, what would people say about me? And he's like, so my encouragement to you, Rachel, is what will people say about you? I know that this is a hard time, and this is when my father passed away. My dad was a pastor, and this was in 2005. And I remember I was like looking at him like, you're so young, but yet you're so wise. Thank you for that. I'll never forget that. And I just want to give our condolences not only to the youth in the San Francisco church, because it is a big, big, big loss, but like Uncle Young said, that maybe some of us were lazy and it's time for us to do the work. But be encouraged, and thank you for sharing your brother with us. My sister Becca is the singer in our family, and so when the two of them and Florencia would get together, they were all excited, and we would just sit there and be like, okay, that's nice with Tuaumu. And so we're like, great, okay, that's nice. Just keep singing, keep playing, but we're just thankful to God, and hopefully we can also remember what Stephen not only meant to us, but what would people say about us when we pass away? How will our legacy be? And that we could be a blessing to others the way this family has been a blessing to ours. Our prayers and our love for you to provide a new family. We appreciate you. Thank you. My mom and my dad had a very special relationship with your parents. I'll never forget that. And we thank you very much for always loving on our family as well.
Just real quick, I just wanted to share that Stephen was always a person who was always encouraging and always trying to motivate, youth or us young people to stay in church. And just going through his life, he was a testimony to me and everything that he has done. And he was so talented, even playing the piano, getting the youth together. Like my sister said, Becca, she's the singer for our family. So anytime she would go in the pulpit, Stephen would go to the piano and just start playing along with her. And I really just looked up to him and really was like, wow, that's such an inspiration for me. Something to live by and go by. I send my condolences to you, Florencia, and your dad. We're all keeping you guys in prayer, and we love you guys very much. And usually we would end with a song, but you can see our lead singer's not here. So just want to say thank you, we love you, and we're keeping you in prayers. Amen.
All right, family, it's about that time. So I'm going to give the opportunity to my Ulu family to come and share something. I know everyone's had their say, but if you know anything about Stephen, he always made time for some fellow musicians and singers. So let the girls come up here and close our sharing time today, and then we'll turn it back to the Reverend to wrap us up.
Amen.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tracy, and this is my home church. And I remember Stephen since he was born. He used to sit over there with my sister Kat on the piano, and he always admired her. And Kat would always let him sit next to her, and he ended up being even better than my sister at the piano, and a really good pianist. And I really admired him for that, because not only did I kind of strayed away from church, but every time I came back, he really had this choir, like, he was bringing it back to how our choir used to be growing up. And I wanted to thank Stephen for doing that, because Stephen actually brought me back to church. As much as he probably didn't know that, but seeing him on the piano and teaching our choir, especially all the youth, they're really, really good. And, you know, them singing and him being here and teaching them, thinking. And he was really, really, really clever with the way he taught them. Like, my sister had her own ways of teaching them, and even Binyaki had his own way of teaching youth. But, you know, Stephen really was really detailed and very, very, like, into every note, every key, every alto, soprano, bass. He taught every part, and he was really, really clever with it, because they're amazing. And even though he's not here to play with us, to sing with us, I still hear Stephen in all of us, because he really touched all of our hearts, and I appreciate Stephen for that. And not only did he inspire me to come back to church, but, you know, I hope he inspires every youth out there that is, you know, straying away. I hope they come back and join our choir, because we're the bomb. And I know they could sing forever like that because of Stephen. And my niece is going to share the song that Stephen made her sing a solo to, but if the choir wants to sing along, you guys can too, okay? But thank you, Enoch and Flo, for having Stephen be such a beautiful musician, and even Tawa, even Tupu, they're not here, but they did a lot for Stephen to become the best piano player in our church.
Jesus.
Would you like to stay there?
Thank you very, very much for that beautiful song. There's about another hour before we finish. Because Florencia asked me to extend it an hour, and I said, that's the hour I was going to preach on. Amen. Come on. Back it up. Ele foi esse talão, o que ele é pouco aqui foi. Aí, after lá. After mata mo fio de nessa língua. Olha, mas não tu fala aqui. Olha, mas liu olha aqui. Aí, mas não tu fala que esse ano. Ua, tu malos, tá se o. Ya, o le nei la aso o le no lofo mo fala mo lomo o ma fo faufo. Ya, ma mona I loto. Le tele o loto wa ma le nei mo loto o lofo le atarine. O le uso matua o le tofaya tapuala. Ina ma mele Amerika fisu ya ma pepo no le titele matua ya. Ya, o te le titi ya matua to fire to kwala. Ai faya sa fam ta langa wa le lotu nei wo umona. Sa mo mai le sunga le di fe au ya manuao. Ta tu le o te sta. Il fatto numa ai o lo suma o le te taio na go ya fa pena foi fascino le calesia. Ai a fai lo fina ngalo le te talia ma fa tai. Ya ai o uma outra do ator ele falou mas assim na taline ele me foi no fale tomu lo moli maurina o le tu wasi lo to calesia o le tu wasi ale tafalea o lo to calesia ale o San Francisco San Jose manisi foi o ainda que no to va fonga ye I moli mau le ne yasu ele me foi lá na fama talaina ele tangata fatauva Ela mono ono o loto wanga le le. Ele masi o loto o lofa. E o le al mea tau te abatu mo to ele mwhai ona mātou te tongi ina. Au loto au ai le teimi lea au malo malo ale ngase ngasa le atali nei po ona mai. Se ese tau. Ese tau o le nanga uenga. E o ai loto whawhia ngai ngā marwhai e le mwhai ona malo loto. Melea, ya ele fia nanu ina la tala le na o te fia sa tala atu le la mona fale atu. Kau to ngā luenga, kau to kalesia e maisi. Ya, e soi fua ngā lua e o to tele. Sa leo tu vau no to wasi le atali. A short testimony for my nephew. You heard Florencia mention that he earlier started playing at 3 years old. But I have 4 children. Now I'm soon to have 8 grandchildren. So I'm another senior citizen according to the mother that she said something earlier. Anyway, I used to, when Stephen and Florencia used to come to our house with their parents, I used to bring him and he comes and sit on my lap. And I play the keyboard and make my poor children sing all the time. And Stephen had that passion for music from a very, very early age. And I knew it. And I knew it then, that this guy has a very, very special talent. But you know what? That talent, youth, I was pretty impressed with your songs and your singing today. I know you miss Stephen. Because Felix is working his way up. There's quite a few steps to climb. Felix, keep up. Keep up doing it. Make sure you use all the octaves of that keyboard. Jam on it. If you make a mistake, that's okay. It's us. But that's how you're going to get better. Stephen never left that. And you know, every time he calls me and says, Uncle, did you read about that? Did you listen to that song? And did you do this? And did you did that? Did you do this? I said, Stephen, those are our Methodist songs. And he said, yeah, that's the one that I wanted you to get me. And so that was my relationship with my nephew. It's all about music. A lot. And he has a very, very gifted mind. And so the Sunday before he passed, I went with my family and called up all my children and said, we're going to go visit Stephen. Because I know although we want to shake his hand and keep him with us, God's calling is different. We cannot. The meaning of that is the pula is the old and the moto is the young. For the youth. So God will take the old and take the young too. It doesn't matter. So we went to the hospital. And we were talking, we were joking. And Stephen always shares very, very deep stories about his father and his family with me. A lot of sharing. He opens to me a lot. So, and I welcome that for a lot of my nephews and my nieces. And he said to me, and so during the visitations, I said, Stephen, la faita to look, usumo mosta to this, and fayelo tato. And Florencia was there. And Stephen looked up and said, Uncle, can you sing this song? And he started singing it. That was the first hymn that we sang for the service today. I was surprised that Young had no clue of that song. And then I said, okay, I know that song, we're going to sing it. And then he kept going on and on and on about all the old Methodist hymns that he knew. Because that was how I mentored him in his very young age in music. He started to write all his complicated music about for the churches. For the youth, I want to leave 3 words for you about Stephen. My relationship with my nephew. He's a very, very inviting young man. And I know that I've heard about that from all of you today. He's very inviting. He listens a lot. And boy, he questions you a lot too, right? And then when you get that information and he knows you, he's very, very inspired about his music. And I can feel in the singing today. I can sense in your spirit that inspiration is going to come through. Keep on praying. And keep on going. Never give up. Because at the last one, if you stay on that, God will empower you. God will empower you, children, youth, young adults, to keep on and move on. Yeah. La kipi esi vai ngai tele o la unga se fai sistem sana. Ai, tele mato pesi. Ya fai foi ole na o wava atu lo to su mai talo mai. O metalo. O fai o tato moli mo wini fatasi le yasu. Ya te vala watu lai mato o foi pesi. Ele o messengers. Vai to mai messengers. Umaya ilugule lassenjers listen. Umay, lenga lumay. Se yusu tato peselea. O peselea tato fana nawo ya ngawo kwa ya. E lua na points o te fia tala noa ai mato ai na mesel tato wa fitulo. Na o leutela mo o lo tu fisi. Especially the talented young man that dedicated his life, his whole life. 80% of Stephen's life is the church. Very, very little time was to himself and his family. So, there's a lot of questions that came up. But, I just want to touch on that. In a year, ana fa so atu le fio ma le tua ia ona tatu talo le na fa ia ke so ni mai por pesa era mata usuina io lo fai o tua le se tau tala ko pula o le feed me Lord amana po ia fio ma pai o tu le amazing grace. Si fue el motivo que te murió. Ya. Malo, partai kule anganga na kule le pesi anganga po ia. Mai se yo to forma ia mai so tanto mono le ia tani. Ia le yaso. De le ia pasi po tal ia o to fa forma ma tanto fa longo ia. E pei fo yo o mliu ia po tu malo to ten. O to ainga e po tanto ainga fo. Ia ia fasi foi tau na no to fa manatu e to fa magos ia ainga mai se le kalesia mai se tanto ma kanga le ia Mua le petero ono mtau ko lima ono fai po sifuru. Awala po inga la fai mai ai apostol. Awale tua e ona le alofa tu noa o malapa. Le na bala wine tatou ia i watu. Ilona manuia e wha pau o ia ke riso Yesu. E atinga haina o tou i na yaso. Ye wha ato o toa ina o tou i alava. Ye wha tuma wina. Ye wha malosia. Wa ye wha vaina o tou. After you have suffered for a little while, the God of our grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, support, strengthen, and establish all of us. After you have suffered. The other part that he says is for a little while. There will be times when we suffer. It doesn't matter. Adversity builds your life up. Adversity builds your faith and your hope in Christ. Hope or family. Faith or fato. Hope says God can do it. And faith says God will do it. Amen. Tato ainga ni nefia. Kapenare atali ina. Tal share moel mato ainga. Me fato tua le na soifua ile atali ne. Wa tala bolo na soifua. Ai ese de fa ye no no lama. Ya ke biso Yesu. My family and our church and all of us, let's see what we can do to carry on that torch like this young man. And then there's a story that it's important for me as I'm listening at the hospital to your visitations, to the questions that come up, questioning God's will and God's power. It is okay to question. It is okay. Because God will come in his own time and explain to you. I don't know if you remember, there was an accident, 2016 I believe, that Coach Monty Williams lost his wife. He is the assistant coach to Oklahoma team, Thunders, huh? And then he lost his wife through an accident. But the gentleman was such a faithful coach. He has a lot of faith in Christ. And he said, God will work this out. My wife is in heaven. God loves us. And God is love. That's what I want to remind our families, our church. Because then he closed it out by saying, when you lose something, you cannot find it. Right? You lost something. You will never find it again. But I know exactly where my wife is. I will miss holding on to her hand. And I will miss talking to her. But I hope when I'm living this life, this is his words. I'm taking it out of context. That one day, I will go to where she is, which is in heaven, where God is. That's our purpose. That's our faith. Yeah. Love it. And that famous story that we all know and all heard before. Horatio Spafford, that lawyer from Chicago, that had a wife, her name is Anna, and had 4 children. He had 5, and then his son lost his son to pneumonia. Then he had left with 4 daughters. They were going on a trip. But he said, my wife and my children go first. I have a meeting, then I'll catch up with you. Well, we all know what happened. The boat that the mother and the children sailed on sank. 4 girls, my brother and my niece and our families, the 4 daughters died that evening. The mother survived. And she wrote to her husband. She wired her husband and she said, "Saved alone, what shall I do?" That's our question to God. That's what we question. It's okay. But you know what? When the father tried to catch up with his wife, and at that night the boat was sailing, the captain said, "Come here, Spafford. This is exactly where your daughters went down, in that ship that sank." And he thought and thought and thought about it, and the father said, and he wrote, "It is well with my soul. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul."
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.
Ia, te roa, vena me whala. Ua, me fo i tātou mawhitanga. Kei tai o le iaso ma le tātou saninga. O tātou pole mawina, le siri ese ma le mawaluma o le alofa o le atua. Le o tātou whaafonga, o waia fo i Jesu o le tino, e la tātou pole mawina lo o tō wāwhia mai, su mai ma le tana mai o au, ka ia o aina, o o mai masani. Au na ale atua ma o tō wharitua, e ma mau, ma e lata mai, a ua ma whai o le tātou poto le ni tuasa, o na le whaalia, ro o tō alofa, ma le tātou whenmori ma wai, i le alofa si eso le atua. I leo lama o Steven. O le menea, o le a vai foi o le tātou kolkalama, le tātou anga i atu i le ho, ia, mo se tau mawhitanga mama, o te tau foi o na tu se mea manana tu lau, wa o umi le asu, ia, o ia mea uma, o waina ia e whaiwai, le siri ese o le arofa le tua, wa tātou wāna rofa i a Steven e ala i le tātou whaatasi mai i le nei sarlina mo aina ma wou mai masani le kare sia e pere i a teia i a te tau foi o na mātou whape atu e ala i le rofa o le atua tātou whaatasi laro su mai ma tala mai a au se i whairo fo i le rofa o le atua le o umani tātou sarlina o le nei mawhitanga whale nanga ala tātou o e whai mawhitanga whaatino, o ia mawhitanga uma, o mawhitanga tātou te whaafoki ai, le vi inga, ma le whaamanu i le atua siri ese. Ia mon neite, ma lo whaafitai le tātou sāminga, ma lo lo sa, whaafitai sumai, whaafitai tala mai o au, ia la tātou watu loa i le ho, ale kalesia, tātou tala noa, ma tātou whaia nisi fo i whamitalanga ma tano fia, ia ma whaia tātou tau mawhitanga i le tonu le hoa for English speaking friends, families. We would like to invite you to our, not a feast, but I think it's only a sandwich and a refreshment. But for the Samoans, from Samoa, tomorrow is the feast. So I would like to invite everyone, whaiwhi aums and wharituas, whawhenenga taunangi, i kalesia te tasi ma leo tō te awhioma iei mo tātou aina wō mai masana, i ake a tātou suwatu i a tātou hoa, whaatatele.
Whakaiaku le rana kwa le whaikoi na kōwhaa, i omo mai lawa ore ma fō lai ai na tua i kukele mai kuto lai. Mako la taku mai e kasi kuto le whekulai ngai kua taku ai na ua, taku kai.
Te paia le au pai na wenga le atua, na manu ma le au fia, te whātulo watu, i leo au ai neile ska, ai pangā lea, o i tū malanga nuu pa Samoa, e le tau fia, au tōsila fia, o San Jose, e tōru moto wei whakataru mai, ne la whamatu watu ai nei. Ai tuloia le paia mawalunga i le langi, ma le langi, ma le langi. Ua tau whai sunu i ao o le langi. Tulo, ua ao le langi. Ai ta ape pāpā, i le atu o ai kana rua. A wāle wala au paia le atua le atuli i a Stephen. Ma ua motu si ai le pā, ua le so. Tulo ia le maota na ngoli, lo mutu ma le afi. Tulo. Ai ua mātou o mai, mātou te whiatu i na atu o mātou tau au. Tātou te amoina whaatasi mawhatiano le loto whaamau. Lea, o mātou o mai e nei, mātou te leo mai mani māsei e tūni le lei. Me lau whala ie, me lau whala wau. Ai tau ai na tau ane ai. mātou te langona ina mawhutianga o tō o iai. O le laula au manongi, o le ia whimata, ma le laula au manongi, ma le ia leise le nei. San Jose, California, in la rua de Silicon Valley. Tau ina tafi mala le kolonga le atili, mawa tonu no fuanga tu mauilangi. Ia mawalunga fa mai senga ma fa ma fa fananga tato tapa alfa sina de langi. Ia vai lo tato wa, so i fua pa ia manuia.
Ia, o te panatu renei teini whaaftai atu le whetalei ma le saunoanga le whatua ia po le tausi fo. Whaila wale masui o le kalesia le suma le whatua ma le suma le whaafenai ia mese le tātou le kalesia mai San Jose. E mori atu le nanga whaaftai i le nei teini i le nei whaaloalo maurunga o tau aro iai i le nei afiafi. I le tātou mawhatanga ia o na o whapere ne fiafi. Ia sau ia steini. Sau steini o na toi whai atu leo seisia mātou tala. Ia nei o tae au fo i le siaso. Ia nga whai aku nei kou leo mai ne kai au. Ia whaafutai tele le whaaloalo. Ko kele le ko reka mai San Jose. E kasi ale whingi o ke māsani ai. Ia, whingi leo sika ngā kananga ka mākua o mai leo. Ia le ua upe ua makua kere sikana. Ia la e kala ua. Ia lei whafkai tele i le whaiteu i le whatua. Ia meise le mamaku mawarunga i whaitua matausi. Te matai sa wao ia manitatu e kalesia mai San Jose.